No man shall act with a man as man acts with woman. These are the rules by which my children shall survive. They are not for the survival of each man or for everyone, for many must perish. Where some must die, that others live, the weak shall die and the strong shall live. Where the choice of death between man and child or woman and child, the child being instructed and capable of survival shall live. The means of life shall be placed with the child or woman, and the man shall take his chance. Those are Titanic rules. 26:21, where the choice of death is between the wise and the wise shall live and the foolish shall die. Who shall decide? The foolish think themselves wise, and the wise are weak voiced. Let one who is to die decide who shall live. Wow, this is powerful. I'm thinking of a time when everybody's staying out in the street with family, friends, neighbors, pointing up at the sky, and fear is clutching at the throats of many. Not fear of what they see, fear of knowing that they're not prepared for what they see. And this will be a time when, yes, it is going to be those who live and those who die. And I go to great lengths and two sons to actually explain that for the benefit of folks in awareness so that they can understand this very process, this choice of death process, because frankly, 90% of the world is going to die during this tribulation, and they're going to die by choice. The three main causes of tribulation death in my series I talk about, two sons, is denial, procrastination, and location. Those are the three big killers. And I see vast amounts of denial. These people are principally living along coastlines. That, to me, is the oddest thing. If you go into flyover states, you're going to meet more people who are aware of what's going to happen than people who are living along a shoreline. And yet, they're the ones really at risk. 70% of the surface of the planet is water. And when you start having a pole shift or impact events, anyone that's within 40 miles of a shoreline or more, even up to 100 or 150 miles, they're at risk. And yet, these are the very people who are going to tell you it's all nonsense, nothing's going to happen. I don't want to hear about it. And there is this determined self-ignorance to be in a bubble of bliss. People don't want to pop that bubble. And so I'm really explaining to the people who are in awareness. There are not that many of them. And I explain to them, why are you in awareness? Why are you so fundamentally different from the people who are going to do the bulk of the dying? Why are you wise and they're not? Because if you're in awareness, you're surrounded by people that are going to ostracize you, isolate you, punish you for just trying to share your awareness about what's coming on. It's the best way to look at it is it's like being the only one-eyed person in a land of the blind. And what the blind are doing is they're just shouting at you, get a sharp stick and poke out your one good eye so you can be smart like us. And so there, yes, you say where the choice of death is between the wise and the foolish. The wise shall live and the foolish shall die. And the vast majority of people are foolish. And the ones who are in awareness have the wisdom. They don't understand, in most cases, they don't understand why they have the awareness because they measure themselves in a consumer sense. We live in a consumer society. We measure our self-worth not by what we have, but by what we do not have. We do not have the newest car, the biggest house, the most talented spouse, the best jobs, the latest this, the latest that, the biggest television, this, that, so forth. That's how we define ourselves, by what we don't have. So what do? Well, we work overtime and go to the mall and correct that. It's really a half glass full view of life. And it really benefits the elites because we're in a slave world. And 1,000 people own 90% of all the assets of the world. Less than 1,000 own 90% of the world. If that is not a slave planet, for God's sakes, tell me what is. And what I'm trying to tell folks in awareness in my two sons video is, don't look at this from the glass half empty. Look at it from the glass as half full. Because there will come that time when people are going to be acting strange. They're going to see something in the sky and they're going to start getting worried. Not at first. No, when the Planet X system comes out from behind the sun and everybody can just see it any old darn time they please. What you're going to see on Fox and MSNBC and CNN, etc., especially in the Washington Post, is going to be, it's just an interesting light show, folks. It's going to pass over our heads. Nothing's going to hit us. Now, it will pass over our heads. But when it does that, there's going to be hell to pay. Things are going to break open. So when we see it, all see it. That's not when things really start to happen. That's not when the disasters really start to happen. It's going to be more probably about the time it's directly above our orbit. That's when things start to go cattywampus, which means when we see it, there's going to be time for people to do things constructively to prepare. Now, will they do that? Remember, the three major causes of death: denial, procrastination, and location. People are going to be in a compression in my video, the 5 stages of catastrophism. I talk about the 5 stages, that being, I don't have time for this crap, stage 1. Stage 2 is, ooh, crap. This is when all of a sudden, one day, you just are looking at something and say, well, what am I really looking at? And at that point, you're on the slippery slope of awareness, and there's no going back. Then there's the 3rd stage, which is where people really do themselves the greatest discomfort and disservice, and this is what I call share the crap. Because they keep forgetting everybody that they're trying to share the crap with are still back in stage 1. I don't have time for this crap. Then there's stage 4, which is crap happens. That's resignation. All right. You accept the fact that you are going to be isolated, humiliated, mocked, and threatened because of your awareness. It's mainstream media is corporatist, controlled by the elites, and that whole strategy is, keep them stupid so that they don't do anything. More importantly, keep them confused, because when people are confused, they can't get a good beat on things, and if they can't get a good beat on things, then that justifies doing nothing. All right. And they'll, well, let's just see how it evolves. Let's wait until we cross that bridge. And that naivete, and it's educated naivete. All of this is happening. And then when you see them on TV, and, you're going to see the Mike Jones guys, and they're going to be going, look, it's just an interesting light show. It's a new kind of comet we've never seen before, but don't worry, it's not the end of the world. Then what they're going to immediately, they're going to go, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Then they're going to drag out alleged, supposed conspiracy theorists, all right, who are going to agree with that. Now, and I've published, so I can just say it, but it's going to be guys like Broussard, who are going to go, well, yeah, it's just going to be an interesting light show. So then they're going to say, fair and balanced, we have the official view, we have the so-called conspiracy theorists, and they all agree nothing's going to happen. Go back to the mall, have a good time. And when you hear that message on the corporatist propaganda channels, that's when you know you have your last opportunity to do something. That's it. After that, when they come back on and you hear them say something like, well, this passage of this object turned out to be a little more complicated than we thought, and we've had to upgrade our models. We've done that, and after due diligence and consideration, blah, 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 it's not going to get really much worse than right now. So, and we can manage this, have no fears, just, you know, do what your government tells you to do, and you're going to be okay. And you know what? People are going to go, okie dokie, okie dokie, please, lie to me, lie to me. There is a big win. And that is, if we have a big win, what we have is an enlightened age, a Star Trek future. That's our big win. That's what I'm trying to convey to people, because, you know, for a long time, I've really known and understand what the plan of the elites are. We are a slave species. You know, it's hard to think that you're a slave when you're busy chirping away in a gilded cage. But we are a slave species. Otherwise, why would you have a handful of people who have more combined wealth than the bottom 2.5 billion souls on the planet? 7 people having more value, more wealth than the bottom 2.5 billion put together cumulatively. That's staggering. And that is a slave society. And what they're going to want to do is they're going to want to reestablish their dominion. See, during the tribulation, Planet X, you can see Planet X, and it's coming through, and it's going to bring a disaster. It certainly is. But it is also going to unshackle us as a species. And when we are dying in vast numbers, the truth is we will be dying as free men and women, truly free. So it behooves the survivors to keep the elites from reasserting the shackles of slavery, putting them back on again. So how do they do that? I talk about this in my books, is that the last major event of the tribulation will be transiting the tail. And towards the end of this is when they're going to pop up from their underground bunkers, open up the Svalbard seed vault and all these things, and they're going to say to the survivors, looky what we brung you. We have food, we have seeds, we have clothing, we have medicine, construction materials, everything you need to rebuild life as you once knew it. All you have to do is accept our dominion and take the chip. And there are going to be a lot of people that are going to be in desperate conditions, and they're going to reason to themselves and say, well, it's a bad deal. We'll take it for now because it's expedient, but then we'll figure a way to squeeze out of it. No, there won't be any way to squeeze out of it. Once you sign on the dotted line, that's it. You have signed on the dotted line. And it's no different than, America. Indentured servitude was a big thing in America. There were a lot of people who signed away their life for a period of time, came to the colonies and worked like slaves. And then once they paid off their indentured amount, they were given their freedom. But if they decided to bug out before they were given their freedom, well, that was it. Their lives were toast. It was very strictly enforced. And so that's what they're going to do. And the thing that's really sad about these RFID tags they're going to put in, because they're based on the ET technology, alien technology. And, you drive down the road and you see these guys that are ham radio operators, and they got these big whip antennas on their trucks and cars. You've seen the big whip antennas. And these radios broadcast at a power of 50 watts. That's what mobile radios are doing, 50 watts. Well, the human body generates enough power to light a 100-watt bulb. We learned this when we watched The Matrix, right? Well, if you take...
It's powering a lot more than a light bulb in The Matrix.
That's right. And you take and put an RFID tag into the body, what you have is the body becomes a human antenna, and it becomes the power source. So the RFID tag is a transceiver. It's sending and receiving. And it's a multi-band, multi-mode transceiver. So it's sending and receiving on multiple frequencies in multiple modes simultaneously.
Well, come on down to see me, folks, because I'm the Outcast leading bioexorcist. Yes, sir is. Come on down here, and I want to tell you, I'll do anything. I'll scare them real bad. The point is, folks, I'm going to do anything to get your business. Hell, I'll possess myself if I gotta. Wow! Yo, I got demons running all through me. All through me. Come on down here and see it. And hey, Jack, now, you get a free demon possession with every exorcism. Ah, you can't beat that, can you? Now bring a little parts down here. Hell, we got plenty of snakes and lizards for them to play with. There's no problem with that at all. So, say it once, say it twice, third time's a charm. And remember, I'll eat anything you want me to eat. I'll swallow anything you want me to swallow. So come on down now. Chew on a dog.
People in awareness, their greatest strength is going to be their countenance. When things are crazy, we're all seeing two suns in the sky, and earth changes are really starting to happen at an unsettling pace. We'll laugh about it while they see it. Just an interesting light show. And Y2K. They're going to do that nonsense. Then all of a sudden, things are going to start going bump. And people are going to start, hold on a second, we're not in Kansas anymore. And they're just going to get scared. And you're going to have a lot of people with fear. They're going to be afraid of their lives. They're going to be the ones that are going, well, if it happens, I just as soon die. They're the ones that are going to be going, running around like crazy idiots. All the ones that are today going, no, if it happens, I just want to die. They're going to be crazy. They're going to be dangerous people. And so I'm just trying to help them say, well, your countenance is your ace up the sleeve. How do you play it? And that's what I do. And what are the other things that you can do? Because you're in awareness, because you are a teacher, a mentor, and a comforter. That is your role. You're not a leader. You're a teacher, a mentor, and a comforter. You are the eye of the storm. A hurricane is passing over, and in the eye of the hurricane, it's all calm, like nothing's happening. Well, people in awareness are going to have that centered countenance. They're not going to be racing around scared, screaming, spouting nonsense theories and grapevine hysteria and all of that nonsense. They're going to be calm and collected. They're not going to be happy about the situation, but they're going to be calm and collected. And leaders of faith-based communities that are going to form up to survive this, people who are going to say, I need to get my flock to safety, are going to see these people in awareness who've been studying and understanding this for a long time and having dreams, visions, and premonitions. And they're going to just stand out like a sore thumb. They're going to have that calm, knowing countenance of what to do and where to go. And they're the ones that are going to say, yeah. And they're going to embrace that. So that's what I'm doing, is I am not thinking about now. I am trying to position myself so that when things go crazy, that my books are for that time. They're not for the present. This is for people in awareness so they can prepare for that time. The bliss of ignorance is a wonderful place to be. Nobody wants to have their bubble busted. That's the thing about awareness. That's the reason why people are so hysterical about it. And they're so mean to their family members that are in awareness, because they look at it. They may be dumb, but they're not stupid. They understand. If they ask that fateful question, what exactly am I looking at here? Now you're on the slippery slope of awareness. And next thing you happen, well, I call it salmon slapping, because you literally, I don't care how you get there. The journey to awareness is just as personal as each individual. But the effect is always the same. You feel like somebody just slapped you upside the head with a dead salmon. There you are. spitting scales and wondering just what happened, and you're never going to get back into the bliss of your ignorance ever again. That little bubble is gone. The blinders are off, and that's not going to change. You can drug your way out of it, drink your way out of it, sex your way out of it, sport your way out of it. Nah, it's irrepressible. It's always there. You know it is. You can dance around it, but you can never walk away from it. And they know that. That's